Hey, everybody, welcome back to the first ever Ike Live Fireside Chat. We're having a wonderful evening, a wonderful discussion with the one and only second most famous person from Millville, Greg DiPalma.
Thank you.
I want to pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
So I love the story where, you're crushed. You didn't accept it, and then you work your ass off.
Yep.
And you get back and you qualify again.
Yep.
And this time, Chris calls you or whoever calls you or the letter comes to you and it says, Greg, you qualified to fish the elites. Do you accept this invitation?
I was heading to Kelly's house. She was with me. I got a phone call, and it said Chris B. And I was already waiting for the phone call. And then I was like, oh, that's Chris Bueller from Shimano. And I was like, no, that's Chris Bose.
Ooh.
So I answered the phone, and I'm like, hello, Chris. He says, Greg. And where her road is to her house, it's the worst service ever.
Oh, you're in a hole, aren't you?
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I tell Chris, I'm like, Chris, I'll call you right back. And she's with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hang up, and I'm like, he's only calling for one reason, Cal.
Yeah.
So I head to Wawa, and I park in Wawa, and I call Chris back. And Chris is like, Greg, you know why I'm calling, don't you? I said, yes, I do. I said, yeah, on the spot.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yes, that's
Thank you.
awesome. And what
Yeah.
makes this story even better is you were in a Wawa parking lot.
Yeah. I went to Wawa.
It wasn't Pete's favorite Wawa, was it?
I don't know his favorite Wawa. It could
I
have been.
think it's up Mount Laurel. I don't think it was
Probably not. Yeah, Sharp at 49.
Wawa Hoagie Lady right now is at home
Oh,
with the chills.
He's cheering.
Yeah.
She's
He's
cheering.
just cheering.
Yeah.
So
Actually, the Wawa Hoagie lady just said Greg's getting lucky tonight.
All right, Cal.
So an immediate yes.
Yep.
And just totally excited out of your mind.
I still, that moment was like, dude, I can't explain it.
Yeah.
It was like uplifting. It was,
Yeah.
It was stupid. It was just like, I was like, holy crap, man.
Yeah.
I glowed for probably 2 weeks straight.
Right.
Like I smiled the whole time, no matter what we did.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
dream come true.
So you say yes.
Yep.
Now, did the enormity of what was ahead of you, were you aware of
Yes.
everything involved?
I was. At this point, I've talked to plenty of people that fish it or have fished Elite Series.
Yeah.
And by this time I was already sponsor wise. I had it all lined up. Everybody kept telling me like, dude, you get to that level, we're ready, right behind you.
Yeah.
And the transition was probably 99 percentile of the easiest transition to say yes, because I had all them years in between from 2006 till now.
Right.
Ready to rock.
Ready to rock.
Yep.
And your business portfolio
Yep.
was much more secure.
It was there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was huge.
So, no hesitation.
Nope.
You said yes. You're excited.
Yep.
And then you're thrust into the first event.
Yep.
Tell me about that. Walk me back through, because that I remember like it was yesterday. You talked about that 4 1/4 you caught at
Yep.
Union. I remember like it was yesterday my first elite tournament as a pro. I remember the boat run down. We launched at Metro Park at St. Clair. I ran all the way down to the mouth of the Detroit River. I remember being nervous and sweaty, and I remember like having this great game plan. But I remember like, driving in. I can't remember what I was driving at the time. And I remember seeing all these iconic people. Like the route that I went down, I just happened to pass like Nixon, and I passed like, I don't know, like another big name guy. And I just for a second I was like, what the fuck did I just get myself into? You know what I mean? And it was that first, I hadn't even made a cast as an elite pro yet.
What year was that?
Top 150 pro, 1999.
99.
So there was all this like weird pent-up anxiety until I got to that first spot and started fishing and started catching, and then I came down. Did you have that kind of moment? Walk me through your first tournament, your first day of your first tournament.
Well, I'm gonna go to the first practice day.
Okay, and we're in Florida.
We're in Florida.
St. John's River.
St. John's River.
Yep.
We actually had very cold conditions for 3 days in a row. Prior to the first day of practice, BASS sent out a letter and said, We're gonna take a day off on Wednesday and do a media day, pictures, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So we had practice Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It was cold. Wednesday was the warming trend, and it went from being cold to 80
Wow.
in Florida, and this is February 1st.
Yeah.
So I'm in practice. It's the very last day of practice. It's the Tuesday, last day of practice, and I was on hardly anything, and I still never even stopped. I just kept going. Well, I get into Lake George, and last year or this year, the beginning of the year, Lake George had no grass.
Right.
And everything I Googled and YouTube was
No submerging grass. No eel grass.
hardly anything. I mean, it was barren sand.
Right.
Everywhere was sand.
Wow.
And everything that I researched, pointed towards Lake George. All your tournaments you guys had there in the past, you guys all whacked them out of
Vast
George.
majority fish
Yes.
Lake George.
So I get into Lake George first days of practice. Like I get to Lake George and there's no grass anywhere. So I'm like, holy crap. I practiced some other spots on Monday. Some odd reason on Wednesday or Tuesday, the last day of practice, the last hour, I'm like, there's one little section of Lake George I did not look at. I mean, it was small. I pull up to it, and as I'm pulling up to it, I see grass. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
I pull up in there. So I pull in there. There's beds everywhere. So there's not a bass on any of them. Zero.
Yeah.
So here I am, my very first elite tournament, day one of the event. We had an 80 degree plus day the day before. Thursday was going to be hot. Friday, every day got to the 90s. It got super hot. So in my mind, I'm like, dude, that's all you have? Hope they pull up. I pull in there day one, and every bass is on a bed.
Oh, my God.
So every vacant bed was filled up, and it was just like, it was me, Brandon Cobb, and Shane LeHue. We all found the same exact spot. By the end of the day, you can just hear the throttles. Whoa! You start seeing boats in one pocket. They're going to pull in there because they weren't catching nothing.
Right.
They pulled in. At the end of the day, there was probably 25 boats on this small grass patch. But the little area that I picked was like the funnel area. They were coming to it. So by the second day of the event, I was watching them swim in off the main river, or the main George.
Yeah.
They're white as can be, just coming up, and I'm like, this is perfect. To go into that tournament, I want to tell you a little story real quick.
Yeah.
So every day at the event, I weighed a fish in 8 pounds or better. And so the very first elite event, I don't have a marshal. My very first pro tournament, there was a lack of marshals in the event.
Yeah.
I never got a marshal, and I'm like, I'm driving, and I'm like, holy crap, man, this is cool as hell. Like, I'm, first day fishing pro, and I'm all by myself.
Yeah.
And it's just weird fishing by yourself in front of events. I pull in there, and I'm fishing. At this point, I probably got, the males were coming up. The females weren't coming yet. I probably got 12 pounds on 5. I look over in a little bit deeper water. The beds are so hard to see, which I look over a little deeper water, and I see like a black log slide into a bed, and I'm like, is that a bass? And I'm like, I throw out to it, and it kind of like goes in my bait, and I'm like, that's a freaking largie. It's deep. It's hard to see. So I'm working this fish. I finally get it to bite. I set the hook on it, and I'm fighting it, and I'm like, dude, this is a 10-pounder.
Yeah.
I'm pulling. I just got my hand to grab it, and the bait came out of its mouth. It swam off. We're back to the bed again, and I'm like, I can't believe it just happened. This is like my rookie debut. And I stand up, and I noticed, I said to myself, he went right back to the bed, or she went right back to the bed. I flipped in there an hour more. I'm sitting there now, and now I'm like just letting my bait not even move. I'm just sitting there, and I'm looking. I see the fish twitch a little bit, and I feel. So I set the hook on it, clean snap. After all that goes down.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, like you want to talk about your heart dropping the second
and
opportunity?
this is so wait.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Let me. I'm all spun out right now.
I was spun out
I'm
myself.
spun out just to listen to the story.
Yep.
I'm totally spun out. So this is your first day as an elite.
Yep.
The first morning,
Yep.
the first day of the first elite tournament of your life.
Yep.
And you lose an 8, 10-pounder.
Yep. Twice.
And then break it off.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
So now we're at probably 2.5, 3 hours, and I'm still working this fish.
The same fish.
The same fish.
So you broke it off, and it's still there.
Oh, yeah. It went right back to the bed again.
Oh, my God.
So I'm working it, and I'm just, at this point, dude, I'm standing there. I am not moving the bait. I ain't even twitching. I'm just standing
Did you run through different techniques?
Admit 2. That's it. 2 techniques.
Okay.
So because the reason why I stayed what I was doing, because all the other fish that I was catching was kind of like got this one technique where I just would dead stick it in the bed and don't even move it.
Right.
Well, I'm sitting there, dude. I didn't even blink for 20 minutes. I'm like just waiting, and I'm like, he's got it again. At this time, I retied everything and I put on like brute line, and I was like, you gonna bite this thing now? You're coming in the boat.
Yeah.
Big hook. Wait, the hook was like hanging out of the bottom of the bait. It was so big.
Yeah.
So the fish bites it. I freaking jack that thing. It comes right to the boat, no fight, and I grab it, and I got it. It was an 8.15.
Oh, my God.
And I put that thing in the live well.
3 times.
3 times.
But you landed it.
I landed it.
Wow.
Yep.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Yep.
Dude, what could have been, a moment of your career
Yep.
that you'll remember for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
Dude, I can't think of a better way to start an elite career
Yep.
Yeah, how about that?
than having
Yep.
a giant bass like that.
Yep.
I mean, that's a world-class bass. I
Huge.
catch very few bass that big.
My personal best still.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, first day of the first tournament, have a good event, catch an 8.15 and 8 every day,
Yep.
in fact. And flash forward to your season. By the way, let me back up. I looked on your bass stats.
Yep.
And according to Bass, you have 52 tournaments in
Yep.
with BASS. And you're 27 times in the money.
Yeah.
It's really good. That's over half.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's really good. So, flash forward to the season. You have some good ones. You have some really good ones. And you end the season at St. Clair.
Yep.
And what happens?
Let me back up even more than that,
Okay.
because a lot of guys or guys and girls don't know this. This year, if I could have broke something, I broke it. Seriously. So, I literally, for the record...
Because you were mad and you kicked a depth finder off the front of the deck?
No, I haven't gone that far.
Oh.
I haven't gone like... but, so I basically missed 2 days of fishing out of the regular season this year. 2 days. I didn't fish 2 days of basically 2 of the events.
Wow.
Yeah, so I still... After all this stuff happened, I was heading to Lake Fork. I hit a deer, smashed my truck completely. So I had a practice on Winyah Bay that I couldn't even sleep. I was going to win the event. I mean, I know we've all had the tournaments
Yeah.
where it's like I'm going to win, and it
Yeah.
never comes out that way. I finally had it happen. So
In the Cooper River?
in the Cooper.
Yeah.
So I found these fish. I mean, nobody was around. They were I was calling my shots, and they were big ones.
Yeah.
And I found fish in another area that one of our other competitors was in, but there's something about rivers that I know that I don't want to share. But the other area was probably the winning spot, but with the conditions we had, I knew it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And so I completely mucked that idea. Day one, I run down to this area, and I'm telling you, it was stupid. I run down to the Cooper. I'm in there for like a minute, and I catch almost 12 pounds. And I knew that was going to be a good bag.
Yeah.
So I didn't press them. And I only had about 1 hour of good tide the first day. I was getting an hour every day more.
Right.
So I ran down to Cooper. I caught them fish real quick, and I was like, we're going. Just because it's such a far run, so many different variables.
Yeah.
So I ran back, got there. I think day one I was in like 13th. And I didn't even touch the fish yet.
Yeah.
Day two, I'm making that 100-mile run back to the Cooper, and I blow my compressor on my outboard.
Oh, my God.
So my day two was completely shot.
Wow.
So that was a tournament that...
So it went in the canal heading there?
Yeah, I was in the, whatever you call that, the intercoastal.
Intercoastal, yeah.
So it gets better. So anyway, I'm out for day two. I just missed a cut to fish day three. I'm like thinking to myself, if you look at the stats, I had just enough weight day one to possibly stay in this thing.
Yeah.
Because the weights are so low behind
Yeah.
me. I ended up just missing the cut. Day three, Bass has this thing now called Anger Alley, where if you don't make the cut, they want you to show up and hang out with the fans.
Yeah.
I'm at Anger Alley. I look up on the Jumbo TV there, Scott Canterbury, and I talked to him about this too.
Yeah.
Scott Canterbury, on a whim, decided to go to this area because he thought it looked right. I'm on the Jumbotron looking. There's one sign in this thing when you go in. Scott goes right by that sign and catches 17 pounds.
Oh,
and I
man.
was like, that was the fucking spot. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
I knew I had it.
Oh, man.
And I just never had the opportunity to fish it.
It's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. And then Scott, I talked to Scott about it. He said he just went in there on a whim and
Right.
crushed them. And that's exactly where I was.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable. That's such a horrific, brutal run. You
It
make
is.
that 100-mile run. It's such a commitment, you know?
Yeah. So, to go back into the more of the story, I'm the kind of guy that, it always has been. I never fished the whole pro side where I flip a boat every year. I always kept my boats.
Yeah.
So, this year, even though I answered the question really quick that, yes, I'm going to fish the elites, I still had a very small time window to get a boat.
Right.
So I never ended up getting a boat, so I ran my Phoenix that I had. So I get home, and I was like, you know what? Just do it. So I repowered, put a brand new outboard on the boat, no more problems. I changed everything. I changed jack plate. I changed the steering. I changed everything. It's brand new.
Yeah.
Doing a BFL right after that event, my motor falls off the boat. There was a flaw in one of the designs on one of the components, and I dumped a brand new outboard 20 hours on it.
Oh, my God.
So now, so this year I already smashed a truck. I blew an outboard up basically in an event. I dropped an outboard off. It broke off my boat.
Wow.
Yeah, we're lucky to be alive. At 70 mile an hour, it came off.
Wow.
So it keep on going, and I never even. You can ask Kelly. I never backed down once. I was like, this isn't gonna stop me.
Yeah.
I never even thought about it.
Just keep going.
go.
Just battling through it.
Go.
So you never, not once, not after all these things,
Nope.
you never just said, what was your line from today?
Never give up?
No.
Screw it.
Oh, to hell with it?
To hell with it? You never said to hell with it?
No, that was
she
Uncle
can
Don
tell you
this
right
morning.
now, man. I
Wow.
never stopped. I was like, this is my whole career's been this way.
Yeah.
Man. It's been like one fish here.
Yeah.
It was killing me for the season. I was used to this stuff.
Yeah.
Not the breaking part. And I
Yeah.
really never broke anything, but
It's tough, though, when they're compiled. I can
Yes.
tell you, I've dealt with everything you're talking about. I've had that stuff happen in my career. And it's like the first thing happens, and you're like, just keep pushing. But then when it's the second and the third and the fourth, when they start compiling,
Yep.
dude, at some point I start getting like, what the, you start throwing your hands up a little bit, but you were just focused.
Yeah, steady, man.
Yeah.
Steady. I got back from that, and then we went to Gunnersville, and I couldn't go to Gunnersville because when I was going to head to Fork to do pre-practice and I smashed my truck, it was going to be like Texas, Gunnersville, then back to the next event. So I never had pre-practice on either of them events.
Right.
So I go to Gunnersville, I put the boat in the water, and this is a positive thing. I put the boat in the water, and I think to myself, dude, this is the Upper Bay. It's grass. It's a river system. You got this. I had a really good finish there. So that kind of basically in 2 events, I picked up 20 spots.
Wow.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
So I went from 51st all the way down to whatever it was, 31st.
Yeah.
After the St. Lawrence and after Gunnersville.
Yeah.
So we come around, we go to Cayuga, which is, like we talked about a little bit ago, Cayuga, one of my favorite lakes in the country. And I got on a grass line in practice, and I truly thought that, I didn't think I was going to win it, but I knew I'd have a shot at it. Well, the first day of the event, the weather got overcasty. I was on an outside grass line at like 17, 18 feet of water, and they were there big time practice. I pull up on the grass line, I got Marshall in the boat, and I say to him, guaranteed to fish when shallow. Right on the inside of me was 2 of my competitors. One ended up staying there the entire event. I never went in. Hunter did exceptionally well. All the fish on the outside went
They
shallow.
all
where he
pushed
was.
with the lack of sun.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I had a lot of experience on Cayuga, but I had no experience for that event, fishing up north to where the fish were. I knew a lot of the fish were being caught up there. So that event hurt me big
Yeah.
time with the points. I mean,
Yeah.
I fell probably 5 spots after Cayuga, which I was still in the class of cut, no problem.
Yeah.
So I get to St. Clair, and it was rough. It was St. Clair
Yeah.
in September.
Yeah.
So I make
Feast or famine.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I make that 20-mile run. I was catching them on the Bell Hump really far out there, and I make that run all the way to Bell Hump, and I get there and I just set up doing a drift, and I'm doing a drift, and I took a couple waves over the back of the boat, and they came in. I looked down and I got water coming out of my floor out of the vent, and I'm like, my pump's not working. So I get to the back, I turn the manual pump on, nothing happens. I go in the back, pop the door open, everything's underneath the water. So this is the first
Wow.
day of the event. So I tell my marshal, I'm like, sit down, we're going to go to Canada and get out of the wind because it was howling. I go to Canada. I didn't go on Canada ground. I go to Canada. I hand bail my boat out. The night before, I stole a ice chest from Days Inn to put my line in and wind
Yeah.
it. That's what I bailed the boat out
Oh,
with.
my
So it was like
God.
fate that I stole that thing.
Yeah.
So I hand bailed the boat out.
Selectively borrowed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still got it. So
Thank you, Days In.
thanks, Nathan.
Shout out to
Appreciate
Days In.
that. Yeah, you kept me live. So anyway, so I hand bailed the boat out, and at this point, if I would have had a fish in the live well, I would have thrown it back because like I was underneath the water.
Right.
And I told my marshal, I said, "Listen, I'm going to run the trough. We had like an east wind or something. I could run the trough all the way to the ramp. It took me almost 3 hours to get back because it got to the point to where I'm running, and thank God I had a 4-stroke now because of the torque they have. The whole boat was, I was taking waves. The wind was blowing 35. All the water was washing into the boat as I'm running. I could just see the mouth of where you go in the metro, and I'm running. At this point, we're literally sitting in water, both of us. Like the whole back of the boat's under the water. And a couple of times where I hit a wave a little bit bad, I lost momentum, and I came off a pad, and I couldn't get it to go back on pad. It was
Wow,
so
because of all the
much-
weight.
all the weight in the boat.
Yeah.
So somehow, some way, I made it in the metro. And at this point, like I'm literally driving in water. We're underneath the water.
Yeah.
Like the whole
Level
outboards.
flotation.
Thank
Yeah.
God for a jack plate because I jacked that thing all the way up to keep it up breathing. And I just got in, and I called Trip, and I told Trip, I said, I'm sinking. And Annie from Phoenix came there and pulled me out. Thank God I was in a Phoenix because I felt like if I had any, no offense to any other boat company,
Yeah.
but I felt like if I didn't have that boat,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it.
Right.
That's how I felt.
Yep.
Because that boat gets on pad really good, all that good stuff. So day one is St. Clair, and this is the AOI. Like,
This is make or break.
this is make or break for the
I
classic.
mean, yeah, this is
yeah,
this is your point at where if
Yep.
you don't catch enough, you're out.
Yep.
If you do well and catch enough, you're in.
yeah. So it's crazy because every single person before I came to this event, I was in 35th, I think, in the points. So everybody from 36th to 50th was in the top 10 day one. Like all the guys that had to catch them busted them.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I truly thought, I was like, you just lost the Bassmasters Classic
Right.
for this year.
Yeah.
So Kelly, being the strong they are, the women, she added all my points with every single person.
Wow.
Yes. And she goes, listen, Greg, you catch one fish, you're in.
Yeah.
And you know how we are. That wasn't good enough. I had to physically do it and make sure that I was in the Classic. So
Yeah.
day two, I go out.
So day one, how many did you weigh? 0.
Yeah, I never even really fished.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
That was one of the days that I lost the course of the season.
Yeah.
So day two, I go out, and I had fish that were close to the ramp. I'm like, I'm not making the run. I'm just going to camp, and I'm going to try to catch everything I can. And for some odd reason, the way that I was catching them, I was cranking them, I just didn't pick it up in the morning. I picked up the drop shot, and it was just like gangbusters. Everybody else is cranking around. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? I'm like, another one. Well, that first 4-pounder I caught, like literally the first 5 minutes was like,
You knew.
The
You
biggest
put that
relief.
4-pounder in, and
Yeah.
you knew statistically.
51-point fish.
Wow.
Yep.
Unreal.
Yep.
Unreal. That had to be a big sigh of relief. And making the Classic your rookie season,
Yeah,
it's really tough to do.
I know it is.
That's super tough to do.
Especially all the variables I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's unbelievable. Dude, you should write a book.
Right?
Isn't this this is the stuff of a book?
You got the writer over
Yeah,
there.
you have the writer.
Yep.
I'm serious because all the trials and tribulations and
Yep.
the fucking deer and the outboard and the whole first day
Yep.
gone and
Yep.
and then you catch that 4-pounder and you make the Classic.
That's it.
That's insane.
It was.
How does it feel when you say it? When you say, I'm fishing the Bassmaster Classic.
Honestly, man, I don't think until I get there, it's really going to hit me as far as like making the Classic because growing up all them years and talking to all my Federation buddies, the guys that have had shots
Yeah.
to make it and just missed it, or all the guys that have, dude, there's been guys about 25, 30 years that have been trying and been ounces
Yeah.
of making that, and I see myself now, like, I just did that. I did
Yeah.
it. Like, I made the Classic. Like, I don't know, and this is going to sound really weird. One of my goals kind of hasn't always been to make the Classic. It's just been to fish the elites.
Right.
That's what it's been.
Right.
And I don't know. If I win the Classic, maybe it's going to be like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, how does it feel? It's tremendous. I'm after not catching a fish day one at St. Clair, yeah, I can tell you it was pretty darn stressful.
Dude, it's a big deal, you know.
I've already seen
Big deal.
changes with sponsor stuff because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know it's the biggest deal, as far as my career goes.
Yeah.
Making it the first year, like you're saying, everybody
Yeah.
has said the same thing to me, man. You made it, you did it.
Yeah.
But I guess I can't say it truly hasn't set in yet.
Yeah.
I hear them
I,
talk.
I think it will. I think when you come in the first day,
Yeah.
and you have a big bag of fish and you're pulled in the arena and you're walking them up, that it'll hit you.
Yeah.
When you look around and you see all those people and, Kelly will be out there cheering you on, it'll
Yeah.
hit you.
I'm sure it will. I'm not an emotional person,
Yeah.
but my first year, like my very first, when I walked up on stage this year for the very first time on an elite stage, I almost cried. It was overwhelming to finally feel the satisfaction of being there.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt. Like I got emotional. There were so many times where this season, when I'm by myself driving, I almost cried.
Yeah.
Just because the emotion would, when everything was quiet and I'm by myself, that's when it would hit me. And I never truly cried yet.
Yeah.
Maybe the classic is where I'm going to cry on stage and be a big baby, but I don't know, man. It's just, I'm just so
It's
happy
a lot.
to be a
It's
part
a lot.
of it.
Well, you've worked your whole life to
Yes.
get here.
Yep.
And it's all
Yep.
it's all coming true.
Yeah.
Dreams are coming true.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Let me remind everybody watching and listening right now, if you've got a question, you got a comment, hit us up on the IM. Riz will put it through. You got anything?
Yeah,
do.
like regarding, I'm sorry to
Go ahead.
jump on top.
Yes, Brian.
Regarding fishing the classic, what kind of advice would you have for Greg? This is his first. You fished.
Yeah.
How many of you
I
fished?
got a question to add to that.
Yeah.
How come every time I Google search or YouTube Gunnersville, your name is always up top?
I like that place.
I guess so.
I like that
You-
place.
you-
But honestly, it's a lot. You said it
Yeah.
earlier. It's a shallow grass, river
Yeah.
grass
Yep.
lake, and
Yep.
you'll do good there.
I hope so.
Yeah, you'll do really good. It definitely fits our style a
Yeah.
lot. But no, getting back to that, my first classic was through the Federation. Actually, I qualified in '99 through the Federation, the nation.
Was it Bass Fever Excalibur? Is that the club you were
That
with?
was the club. Even though I was still a part of Top Rod,
Yes.
we didn't belong to the nation, to the Federation. So I Bass Fever Excaliburs, which met just like right up the road here,
Oh, yeah.
like literally right near the school, just
Yeah.
half a mile from here.
Wow.
But it was amazing. It was amazing. It was exciting and intimidating and all that wrapped up into one. But once, just like my first elite day ever, my first classic day ever, once you get into the fishing, you forget about all that, The biggest piece of advice I have is to not get too distracted. And I don't think you will, but not get too distracted by the hoopla on the front side of it. And there's a lot with the Bassmaster Classic,
Oh,
right? So,
yeah.
You've got the check-in and registration, you've got media day, you've got this dinner, this gala that they put on for you, and it's beautiful. And you guys should go.
Oh, we're going.
But there's so much distraction
Yeah.
that pulls you away from the mental side of what you need to be thinking about and what you need to be doing. So that's the one suggestion I'd have is make sure you're balancing that, with what you're there to do, which is to actually go win,
Yeah.
But you're going to do good. I don't know if I can think of a better place for your first classic. I think you'll do really good.
Thanks, Mike.
Davis
Yeah.
Mill.
Davis Mill might be a better place.
They might be in trouble there.
Yeah. Riz, what do you got?
Brian had a interesting comment that came
Brian
in
did?
from. Well, Brian found the comment for me, so Brian's doing my job over here. But Chris Marks was your marshal on 10 Killer, Greg, a few years ago, and he chimed in and said that you are.
This year.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was this year. He said that you are the real deal. So
Thanks,
we-
Chris.
And a super swell fellow.
Thanks, man. One thing that I can say is and this is with my guide service that I run Upper Bay, there are probably, I've had a good trip every single time as far as catching, except for one trip where we had a crazy tide blowout. Every single guide trip I ever did, I have one goal, and that is to make sure my clients walk away with something besides a picture.
Right.
They learn something, and they've all have told me, man, thank you, for the understanding. And that's how I even do it with my marshals. I always lay out what I'm going to do. I actually remember him now. He was like, and we talked about this a little bit ago, Riz. I was making decisions at 10 Killer by the seam of my pants. Like, I was like, I see it, I go. And I'd pull up and bang, I'd catch him right away. He's like, how do you know? I'm like, I just know. But what that equals to me is the confidence, it's to the point now for myself, I don't even think about it no more as far as, like, you can't question your gut. If you got a gut feeling, just go. And that's how I fish.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah. Fish in the moment. That's
Exactly.
That's so important to
Yeah.
do that.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What's the biggest bass that you guys have caught in New Jersey? That's come on the message board a couple of times.
I've caught two in the 9-pound class. One at Mirror Lake a long, long time ago
At Alloway.
in Browns Mill, and then one at Alloway
I know all
Okay.
this stuff.
when they first opened Alloway back up. Like
Okay.
they didn't even publicly announce the ramp was open yet.
Yep.
And I went and dumped in. I mean, all the bushes were still up there, and it was
scale pick or it's a lie, Mike.
it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one I put back in Mirror Lake. The other one, I can't tell you where it's at. It might be in the lake back here. I'm not sure.
Mine was a 7.6 at Bernetti Sandwash.
Ooh,
Okay.
a 7.6.
Yeah.
That's a
I got
big
you in
one.
Jersey, Greg.
Huh?
I said I got you in Jersey.
Aye, that's about the
Oh,
only thing.
Shaw's Mill.
Shaw's Mill back in, jeez.
Cut you an 8, Shaw's Mill.
Yeah.
You snag on a blade bait?
No.
In the
a
tail.
culprit worm.
Oh, you did snag it.
No,
Oh,
culprit
okay.
worm, bro.
Just checking.
715.
That's a big one, dude.
Yeah,
Anything
and I
over 6
waited
pounds
the day
is huge
after
here.
I caught it. It spent the night in my mom's bathtub.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Alive or dead?
Well, you know. This is back in '85, so
Did you mount it?
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. It was '85. We didn't know any better.
85, man. Jesus, how old are you?
Old, dude.
Oh God!
I'm
I was,
old as shit,
I was
man.
2.
From left field.
85. Is that when you caught that in 85?
We were. It was right before freshman year of high school.
Holy hell.
Wow.
Kelly,
How'd you
how
get-
old
how
were
did
you
you
in
get that?
85?
She was like -9.
How did you get down to Shaw's Mill?
How?
Yeah, how did you get down there?
My buddy Tom and his dad. That's what we
Okay.
fished with. Yeah.
Okay.
Pepion.
Yeah.
Pepion.
I thought that might have been one of the adventures where, like, one of your moms would drop you off for
That was a
six-
Tom's dad.
6 to 8 hours. You know.
That was a Tom's
I
dad.
got
deal.
a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to answer this.
Okay.
There's a lot of speculation.
Yeah.
You already know what I'm going to ask you?
I hope it's what I think you're going to ask me.
There's a lot of speculation with possible guys coming back to bass.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Well, I think I think there are definitely guys that are fishing Major League Fishing that miss bass. I think maybe they're not like totally disappointed with where they're at, but there are elements that they miss. So I think some guys are looking at it like, hey, did I make the right decision? Maybe I should have stayed. Do I fish better in that format?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that going around. I would for sure speculate that guys are thinking that.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is, and it's actually a great segue, and I wanted to talk to you about it is, why that whole thing happened. Like with everything we've talked about tonight.
This is good because I don't know it.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
your whole life
Yep.
was built up to this moment of qualifying for the elites and fishing at the top level. And at the very same time, this catastrophic event happened in the sport.
Yeah.
I mean, these two things are going on at one time.
Yeah.
And the whole movement was really based around the anglers not being happy with how they were being treated by bass. And not one thing, a lot of little things, and that's really the basis of this whole movement, the beginning of it. So I guess my question back to you would be your first year fishing the elites. How was it fishing for bass? How was it working with bass? Did you guys have a say? Did you feel like you had legitimate stake in the game with bass?
I feel like, and maybe a lot of guys won't say this, I feel like all of us guys that are new to the elites owe you guys a thank you. Because there's not probably 2-3 weeks that goes by that I don't get a phone call from like Steve Bowman or somebody from Bass
Wow.
asking if I need anything or if I have any questions.
Wow. That's awesome.
So far, yeah, unbelievably good.
Yeah.
So far, everything that we have done has been put to a vote, majority rules.
Yeah.
all from us guys.
Wow.
Payouts, all that stuff, they're going to change next year. Everything's changing, but it's all changing because of what happened from you guys.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, everything has been, they all have been working towards us.
Right.
You know, maybe they realized possibly.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, see, that's great to hear.
Yes.
Because I still believe, I've talked to Brian the Carpenter about this before. I think when you look back on, you know, these couple years, you know, the last year, these next, say, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is, 20, 30, 40 years from now, when you look back, this is going to be the most important thing that happened,
no doubt.
this breakaway.
Yep.
You know, for not just the growth of the sport, but for the rights of the anglers. And it's great that you're saying that. I'm happy to hear that they're, you know, listening to the guys.
Yep.
They're calling to check in. They're taking care of you, because that's what really this whole thing was about from the beginning. You
Yep.
know, our argument was always, you know, there would be no fans, there would be no magazine, there would be none of it without the anglers themselves, you know. And so I think that's what the basis of the movement was. But I also think that, you know, it didn't materialize like a lot of guys thought, you know. So, you know, you leave one organization and think that it's all solved, and there's, you know, it's not, you know. So I don't know where it's going to end up. But let me ask you this: what do you think about Major League Fishing? You fished the elites this year. I'm sure you've had a chance to watch some of MLF. What are your feelings about the league?
Well, you know, all the years building up to this year, you obviously can see where I wanted to be, how I wanted to catch them, how I wanted to weigh them. You know, I'm just a fan of the 5-fish limit.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are. Everybody is. My opinion on the Major League Fishing is this. I guess without being put in the position to make that call, my opinion's minimal on it. I can't say it's good or bad because I have friends that do fish it and like it. I'm not there fishing it, so I can't say it's bad.
Yeah.
You know? Do I think it's going to last? I think if Major League Fishing can stay around for 15 years, let's just say 15 years is a whole different generation coming up.
Yeah.
They're going to know fishing as Major League Fishing, the format.
Right.
So that's what they're going to probably lean towards. It's probably, if you take the younger generation, they probably love it.
Right.
But once our generation fades out,
yeah,
maybe Major League will take over.
Right.
You know, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. I think what you guys have done for all of us new anglers is great. Without what happened would never be that way. I think you guys are the guys I still want to fish against, but unfortunately I can't.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. What was that sentiment? You know, because you know, you hate to ask that question because I think in the outcome, if the guys would have stayed,
yeah,
I still think you would have had a great year and still be fishing the Classic.
Yeah.
But you have to ask that question.
Yeah.
Especially from the new guys. Was the sentiment that, you know, we're here, we're happy, we're doing good, we love it, but we're not competing against 40 or 80 of the best guys in the world, or 60 or 20 or whatever that number is?
Well,
I mean, you mentioned it before.
Yeah,
you mentioned it before with wanting to join Top Rod.
I know. I don't want this to sound wrong, but the talent that's coming up, like, we're all the same age right now. We're all in our 30s. It seems like the talent that's coming up, man, they're good.
Yeah.
I know you guys are good. Trust me, I know. Like you, KVD, Porosnik is amazing. He's just like a fish, that dude. He just catches them. But man, I would love to see us go head to head, us guys versus you guys in the tournament.
There you go.
Just to see, you know, where.
Let's make it happen.
There you go. Can we make this happen? If somebody's watching right now, Boyd, Gary, if you're watching, Bruce Akins, Chase Anderson, if you guys are watching, let's make this happen. You really want to grow the sport if you're sincere about growing the sport. I didn't come up with it. Greg came up with it. So if somebody gets in trouble, it's not me. I'm just elaborating on what he's saying.
And the reason I said that is
it's a great idea, though. I like it.
Our local clubs used to do a thing called the Canal Cup, where it was this one club would fish against our club every year. Winner take all.
Salem Canal?
Yeah.
Wow.
But, you know, we can't have the Elite Series there, but,
yeah,
you know, I would like to have it there.
Maybe.
Why not?
But, yeah, I mean, I think people are. Give it five years. You know, everybody I'm fishing against is going to be a household name. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
The talent's there. You guys might have more experience, obviously, a lot of these places.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to knock anything.
Yeah.
But one of the differences now is we have, and I know you do too in Major League Fishing now too, but we have a no information rule, which everybody knows.
Right.
When you guys were fishing the elites prior to 2 years ago, you guys could get information 30 days prior.
Yep.
You know, so your learning curve, not saying you personally, but
Yeah.
all you guys had the opportunity to learn a lot of these places a lot faster with information if you went that route.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, look at the guys I'm fishing with. Our weights haven't changed from when you guys were there catching them too at the same times.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the guys I think are just as good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think the guys are just as good. You know, we talked about it earlier. You know, you could go anywhere in the country, and there are hammerheads.
Yep.
It's just a matter if they got to that level, if they work to get to the top level.
Yeah.
So I think the guys in the elites this year are all amazing anglers. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously they have to be
Yep.
to be fishing at that level.
Yep.
I think the big thing that we'll see, you know, and again, it's hard to predict, is, you know, will bass groom the next 20 or 30 big names in the sport? And will the fans stay there without those other big names, right?
Yeah.
If Bass can groom the next 30 or 40 top name guys, if you're one of them, I think Bass is going to be around forever and ever.
I do
You
too.
know,
Yep.
they're going to show that they can push through this.
Yeah.
And if they can't, you know, if fans start leaving, sponsors start leaving,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. And the same could be said for Major League Fishing. You know, can they survive the next couple of years? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Do you think there should be one league, ultimately, for the sport to get to where baseball, football, golf, tennis, those other mainstream sports, does there need to ultimately be one main league?
The problem with that, I think, is this. There's so many guys that are gunning to do this. It almost seems like there has to be at least two, because you can't really put a lot of these lakes we fish. You can't put 200 boats on a lot of them.
Right.
You know, and I don't know. It almost seems like there has to be, like, there's a American side in baseball and a national side. There's two different leagues. It almost seems like there has to be.
So
Right.
funny you said that, Greg. Somebody just said that on the message board,
Yeah.
that there should be like an NLAL interleague play.
And that's
how,
where the tournament can come in.
How cool? Yeah, how
World
cool would that
Series.
be? Like,
Yep.
like you got to go. Like guys
Yeah.
got to go fish bass rules for a tournament, and
Yeah.
the bass guys got to go fish MLF for a
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah.
a couple
But-
times a year.
Do I want to fish against you guys? Oh yeah, because let's say right now, if
Wait,
you
wait,
were
hold
to,
on a second. You had a chance to fish today.
I'm
I was
gearing
even
up.
going to pay the entry fee.
I'm gearing up to go to Gunnersville tomorrow, and I'm fully packed because of not fishing today. But I feel like right now in my career, you guys, all you guys in MLF are the big names. You know, you really truly are. There's still some guys where I'm at. Don't get me wrong. Like Zaldane's nasty. He's a hell of a fisherman.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of guys. But I'm all about being pushed when I fished. You know, if you guys would have fished this year, let's say I would have came in 60th.
Yeah.
You know, that would tell me, man, you better really pick your game up because these guys are going to stomp you.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're not being pushed in fishing, it's time to do something different.
Yeah.
And I think at the major league and the elite level, that's never going to stop. You're being pushed no matter
You're being pushed.
what's going on.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big time. Big time. Riz, if you have something else, go ahead. If not, I got another one.
Go ahead.
Just a rumor
Yep.
going around, the possibility of Bass eliminating entry fees in the near future. Maybe not in 20, but in the near future. Is that true or false?
I want to say that it's false. Unless something financially big time changes with a new sponsor for Bass.
Yeah.
I think Bass is ran off of entry fees for the payouts. A lot of it is. You know, seeing the numbers that I saw this year from what Bass puts in, from what we put in, unless I don't know how much Bass makes a year. I don't know at all.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what their sponsor dollars are. I don't know none of that stuff. Is it a possibility? Yeah, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Do I see it happening, you know, next couple of years? I don't.
Right.
No.
Do you think that's critical to the growth of the sport? To have a top league like other sports where there's no entry fee?
Yeah, because in 2006 I would have did it
Yeah.
if I didn't have entry fees. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely crucial for the growth. The one thing I can say about this sport, if you take this sport, like for example, Superior Walls is my title sponsor. This year when I was at the Classic, doing the expo and working it, so many guys walked up to me and said, man, that's a great product. And the reason I say that is because the guys that fish this sport are blue collar. They work every day.
Yeah. Grassroots sport.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's no way the average person can just come out and play this game.
Right.
Unless you had all your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
So no entry fees would make a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it happens.
Yeah. I do too.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot. I don't know that it'll happen in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
It's happening in MLF. Will that convert to every league? I don't know, but I think it has to happen eventually. Like for me, I look at Vegas. He's 8. He's fishing derbies already at 8.
Killing it.
I would love for him that if that's the path he chooses, fish for a high school team, fish for a college team, fish the qualifying circuit, and then when he qualifies, he has the invitation without the bill.
Yeah.
I would love that for him.
Yeah.
I would love that for the sport, but I don't know if that's a reality or not.
Was it MLF's choice? Because in the beginning, you guys had entry fees.
We
right?
had entry fees.
So
we had entry fees.
Was no entry fees a blow at Bass, or was that more or less to grow the sport?
Well, the no entry fees was voted on by the anglers. It was one of the things that happened by vote this year that was successful.
Yeah.
And we had decent payouts, and I think from a standpoint of the leagues, I think they're both doing a really good job.
Yeah.
It's hard to pinpoint one and say they suck, they're great. I think they both did a good job this year. It's just how they're going to coexist and what might happen with, like you said, who knows, a merger,
Yeah.
2 leagues, somehow a joint venture. I don't know. A lot of speculation.
Yeah, I bet.
It's crazy. Let me thank everybody for watching. If you got any questions or IM, send them through because we got about 10 minutes left in the show. Greg, I want to ask you the next chapter now. I want to get into that. Amazing first year, rookie year in the elites. And I don't even want to say this word, but I'm going to say it. Sophomore year. Sophomore year to a lot of people can be the worst thing you could say because you've heard of the sophomore slump. And I'm not wishing that
I've never
on
heard of
you.
that.
The sophomore slump.
Thanks. Appreciate it. No.
But how do you feel going into the Classic? How do you feel going into a 2020 second campaign in the elites?
I have a take on life, and it's because of the way I've always had to work for everything. If I don't do good next year, it's because I didn't work hard enough, and that's it. Flat out. That's what it comes down to. I'm not negative. I don't think negative. I've been in slumps before locally, and the number one question I always got asked back then was, how do you get out? And you just fish through them.
Just keep fishing.
That's it. So could anything happen next year? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. I could win or I could be last place next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hard work trumps everything, man.
Hard work trumps everything.
Yep, period.
I agree with that.
Yep.
I like it.
Now, if you were to visualize what the next big thing is for Greg DiPalma in 2020, what's the next big thing? What's your next goal that you want to achieve? You made the elites. You made a Classic. What's next?
And it's funny because I write down my goals.
Pete Glusick does that. Shout out to
Yeah.
Pete Glusick.
Hey, Pete.
Affirmations.
I have some goals I can't say over the thing. But I'm not saying none of this stuff because I'm sitting here with you.
Yeah.
But you have paved the way for a lot of anglers. You're a pioneer in this sport, Mike, period. You're probably the biggest
Thank
ever. You are.
Thank you.
And it shows. And one of my goals that I've had for years, every year that I watch you personally, you just keep going like this. You always come out with some new venture. You never stop, and it's probably helped because of Becky. But my goal is to be like Mike Iconelli. That's one of my goals.
Nice.
Not break stuff and yell.
I'll
But
give you anger classes.
that's not my goal.
Anger is a
break
gift.
dancing?
Just to let you know.
I can moonwalk, but
Yeah, moonwalk.
yeah, but
Damn, if this was the regular Ike Live, we would do a moonwalk.
It would be moonwalk.
Well, we can't. It's the Fire Slice chat going on. So.
well, maybe if I win the classic, I'll moonwalk. But
There you go.
yeah, dude, like you set the bar every year.
Thank you.
Yeah. You do. I'm not lying. You do.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
That means a lot. I respect you a lot. I respect all the guys in South Jersey, especially competing against you all these years, and you know, seeing you make it, do all these amazing things. It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It feels good. I'm very proud
Thank
of you and everything that you've done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Right on.
it's pretty amazing. Anybody chiming in?
Yes, fishing_NYC on Instagram wants me to tell you he says hi.
Oh, hi.
Maybe we'll give him a follow.
Okay.
He's all over it.
Hi. That's awesome. This was an amazing
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
experience. Seriously, I'm going to say this. Our regular Ike Live viewers are going to kill me. I had a fucking great time.
Pete and Dave are fired?
I'm not saying they're fired. No, we're going to have the regular shows too. But this was nice, you know, getting to sit with you. Like
Yeah.
we've talked over the years, but we've never, I don't think, had a chance to sit down and just talk like two adults like this. You know?
Me and Mike's conversations have always been, "Hi, how are you?"
Yeah, it's been pretty. Yeah, we're
That's-
always competing against each
that's it.
other. We're always passing in the wind.
Yeah, when Mike's in the water, it's like he knows nobody.
You can't talk to him.
Shut everything off.
Yeah.
But it was awesome
Yeah.
sitting with you, and I couldn't think of a better guy
Thank you.
to pop the cherry here for the
All right.
Fireside Chats. It was awesome. And Kelly, thank you for enduring
Thanks, Kel.
this 2 hours. It was great having you here, too. I know how important you guys had great travels this year, though. You did.
She did.
You had adventures. You got the little wife posse going on out there on trail now, which is cool.
I actually
Becky and I did
Oh,
that
we
as
gotta
well.
Put Kel back on camera.
she is a
Wave.
great icebreaker because she's friends with all the girls and all the guys. I don't know them, but I know them now because she's friends
Right.
with the girls. And
Right.
I'm now friends with their husbands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she helped me a lot
Yeah.
as far as.
It's awesome because you make great friends and they'll be friends for life. Like Becky still hangs out with all the old bass wives. You know, they're going on a trip at the end of the month, like a cruise with like Melissa Clun and Tammy Cook and like all these
Yeah.
great wives from some of the pros. So
Yeah.
it's cool to hear that. It's cool to hear you guys had great travels together. Riz, you got one more?
Yeah, I just want to give some shout-outs to some people that have been on the message board with us all night. Loaded for Bass, Chef DH, Fishing with Dom, Jerry from New Hampshire, Slater, Chad in Canada, Travis G, Ike's Broken Rods, Wild Bill, Wild Bill, New York Chris, and many more. I can't get to quite all of them, but we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us tonight and breaking in the new Fireside Chat.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. Before we go, Greg, give them. You want to give any of your sponsors a shout out? You want to let them know how to follow you on social media?
Yeah, I gotta thank some local guys too. Violent Auto Electric has been behind me probably for like 15 years. Dino Venturi, as far as batteries, man, he just came out of the blue one day and, hey man, I'll sponsor you. I was like, awesome. So locally that was cool as hell. I gotta thank my dad, man, just for making me the man I am today.
Yeah.
That really means a lot. Obviously, all my sponsors are so important.
Yeah.
SFT, Mike and George, thank you guys. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for making me work harder.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank everybody. Thank all of New Jersey. Thank all the guys back in the club days.
Definitely shout out to Jersey
Yeah,
for sure.
made me who I am today.
BTC.
BTC.
It wasn't Brian.
Yeah. Great first show. I hope you enjoyed it tonight. Fireside Chat, Greg DiPalma. Great show. Listen, if you missed it, you can catch this again, Brian the Carpenter, on iTunes,
Yes.
Stitcher, IkeLive.com. If you're at iTunes,
It'll be up on YouTube as well.
Be on
We
YouTube?
We weren't live on YouTube tonight, but we're going to get that dialed
okay,
in.
we'll be up on YouTube. If you're over on iTunes, give us a positive review if you like the show. Once again, a lot of great sponsors of the show, but I want to remind everybody, check out the Fisherman game,
Fisherman Fishing Planet.
Fisherman Fishing Planet. It's out right now, right? They can
Yes.
get it?
Oh, yeah. We've been playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little commercial at the end here.
Yes, sir.
It'll give you an idea of the game. It's pretty awesome. If you like fishing, you will like this game for sure. We have another show coming up in a couple weeks. It'll be
next Monday?
Is it next Monday already?
Yeah.
It is.
It's our Thanksgiving.
That's right. Show next Monday, Thanksgiving special.
It's funny when I told Greg, I asked Greg to come on. I said, yeah, it'll be our Thanksgiving show. We got your costume. You're going to be mashed potatoes.
Were you still going to come on, or you're like,
Oh yeah, I'm in, man. Thanks, Brian.
You got it.
Oh,
Keep it
I
man.
was
going,
looking
man.
out for you, boss.
I know.
Hope everybody had a great show. It was awesome. I liked it, and hope you have a great night. We'll see you soon. Fireside Chat. Good night, everybody.
Hey guys, Riz BTC. About to do a little one-on-one challenge, Fisherman's Fishing Planet.
Welcome to the Fisherman's Planet. We have 19 different locations, 143 different species, and tons of options on how to fish. Let's take a look at our inventory. We have our rods, our reels. We can go to our shop. Look at all this equipment that we can buy. All the rods.
So much equipment.
Wow. Look at all this good stuff.
Mud River, Missouri, me versus the Riz, 10 casts.
Stop and go. Whoa. Man, look at this technique.
Ooh, see that? Got him.
Oh, he's on.
It's a big one. Big one! Giant! Oh, maybe not. What do we got? Trout?
What do you got?
Trout?
Catfish? Pickerel? Pike? Grass pickerel.
Toothy critter.
Aha. 10 cast challenge.
You're up. Best out of 10.
Cast. Woohoo! I'm going to go with the stop and go approach.
Like my moves.
Fishing a little bit slower here. Trying to maybe encourage a bit. Oh, he's on! Get in there! I'm in! Yes, I'm in! Number one bass, yes!
Ooh.
Come on, get in here!
Come on, snap them off.
No way. Look at the size of this thing. I got him snagged, hooked in the back.
What do we
Oh,
got?
that's a largemouth.
Oh.
It's a big old largemouth.
It's a short,
Kinda.
11.49. Got to throw it back.
I'm going to release him. Toss him back.
I'm going to jump in Rich's grave here. I see that spot. Oh, no. I'm gonna get
Snag
out.
season.
That's a snag.
Snagged all day.
Got him.
Oh, man.
It's a big one.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he came
He
off. Came off just like real life.